Okay, good evening. I'm going to call to order our Monday, October 24th regular school board meeting. Please rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Do we have any changes, additions, or deletions to the agenda? Board members, superintendent?
None for me.
Perfect. Thank you. Approval of the minutes?
Recommend approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting, October 10th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we have no representation this evening, so we will go to public input, and I believe we have Banks Helfrich up first.
Banks Helfrich, 9100 Sam's Lake Road, Claremont, Florida, 34715. Madam Superintendent, School Board. Two things. One, I'm wearing pink because this is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yesterday I visited in Trilogy a breast cancer with Libby Legacy and Greater Claremont Cancer Coalition. And the celebration they had was incredible. To bring awareness to the breast cancer issue that we have in our country. The second thing is today is the beginning of early voting. Wonderful. A chance for us to exercise our democracy. And one of the most beautiful things about this country, it is one of the freest countries in the world. And I hope you all participate in it by voting, by encouraging others to vote, by being a part of it, and you are because you are serving. Early voting is today until the Saturday before the 8th of November, and then November 8th is Election Day. So please vote. With that, my name is Banks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mrs. Cronin.
Good evening, Superintendent and board members. I know tonight you're voting on the Safe Driving Plan, which has been, I guess I will just say I've sat on that committee for many years, okay? We've gone back and forth with this one part that we changed in here. You know, we have sometimes had no amount of money in there. An accident was an accident, because that's really what it is. They don't try to cause more damage, right? So this is increasing it a little bit because it hasn't been increased in quite a while since there was an amount of money put in there. And we know that we could go get a mirror fixed and it can cost you over $2,000. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we have Janine Mangian. Is that right?
Good evening, School Board, Superintendent. I'm here as a parent and as a music educator for 32 years. My field is music education, something I'm very passionate about. I'm an outsider. I moved to Mineola in 2016, so my lens is through Canadian education, New York State, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. I grew up in a school that had a band, chorus, and orchestra. I've taught always in schools with band, chorus, and orchestra. So my concern this evening is simply Aurelia Cole that's being built. And I would like to see that there is an orchestra with violin, viola, and cello. Just going to share some personal things. This folder right here is when I started my career in 1990. It's the old music programs that are designed by students and their band, chorus, and orchestra, spring concerts, winter concerts, adjudications. And I view them as historic events because they don't happen again. They were for those children, for that music, for that evening. And I didn't really realize the full extent of that until later. I don't think we all realize what that meant to people until later, till these students find me on social media and tell me what this meant in their lives. when I talk about orchestra, I'm talking about violin, viola, and cello, and it offers a lot of collaboration with chorus. Some of these concerts are chorus and orchestra. You collaborate with bands. You have band and strings together on the same concert. I don't need to talk about, I don't think, the research on music education, how important it is for children and their brains and their development. But I can tell you from this other folder, which is a collection of handwritten notes, typed notes from administrators, parents, and students, how much music meant to them. I'll let you in a little secret about music education that educators know, and we're working with a very powerful subject. And the pandemic really taught us a lot about how much music affects the souls, the emotional, the social development of children. It was a glue that helped us together. In the future, this is the seed that I planted for them, and maybe it'll sprout someday with courage and confidence. I don't know where it's going to take my students, but I really believe every child deserves the opportunity. If someone comes to a band director and says, I want to learn to play the violin, there should be a string teacher there to help them learn to do that. I've traveled around a bit this area. I've only been here since 2016, but I visited a school in May in Seminole County called Midway School of the Arts. They have a K-5 performing arts school. They have band, chorus, and orchestra. They begin in kindergarten with a harp program for their kindergartners. I traveled to Cabarrus County, North Carolina in August to visit their K-8 performing arts STEM, which is very close to what you're building in Aurelia Cole.
Finish your thought and then
Okay.
we'll be done. Thank you.
Anyways, there's solutions, whatever obstacle is there. Financial, there's grants to get string programs started. Thank you. Everyone should have an orchestra program.
Thank you for your advocacy. Okay, I think we're on the attorney report.
Nothing much, except I will let you all know I had a chance to speak with the Florida Association of School Resource Officers last Saturday at their board meeting, and I've agreed to help them on a pro bono basis, kind of get their house in order and move forward so they can do more education and training for school resource deputies and school resource officers throughout the state. So I'll be doing that on top of everything else, so.
Fantastic. All right, we are on our consent agenda.
I recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 10.05.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. We have no discussion tonight, so Superintendent.
So a few things to mention. First of all, we would like to propose our next workshop for November the 7th. If you could check your calendars set for 9:30 a.m., our regular time. We have a couple items we'd like to bring, mainly at your recommendations of individual board members have made requests for certain presentations that we'll be prepared to address on November the 7th. You can see nodding.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I had also checked with Ms. Cunningham, knowing that she wouldn't be here this evening, and so she has it on her calendar as well, so we'll get that advertised. In Ms. Cunningham's absence, if you'll recall, the last meeting brought to you Dr. Tibbetts' resignation on your Sales Surtax Oversight Advisory Committee, and she has an individual who she thinks would be a tremendous asset as your representative. Her name is Lisa Ray LaBou. And I have her resume here, and Ms. Cunningham is proposing that she serve as your representative on the Sales Surtax Oversight Advisory Committee.
I think we all have a copy of that as well.
You do? Okay, that's fine.
Do we need to vote on it?
Do they need to vote on that?
Yeah, okay.
Don't make a recommendation.
So, right, so I was wondering, you don't make the motion, though. I think it has to come from a board member? Okay.
From me? Oh, great. All right, well, then I will recommend that you accept Ms. Cunningham's suggestion for Ms. Lisa Ray LaBou to serve as your representative on the Sales Surtax Oversight Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I know Chrissy Falker had agreed to continue serving. She's the one that is currently serving as well, so.
Also, just a couple of other things to make you aware of tonight. We, last week, had an opportunity to recognize and celebrate our principal and assistant principal of the year. Brent Frazier, principal of Umatilla High School, was named our principal of the year, and Frank Gomez at Oak Park Middle School was named the assistant principal. So congratulations to both of them, and they'll now move on as a representative for statewide recognition. Also, in the media recently was the governor's announcement of the school recognition dollars, and we had several schools that did receive some additional funding. And that was Beverly Shores, Cypress Ridge, Leesburg Elementary, East Ridge Middle, Mount Dora High, and Umatilla High School, all based on their increase in student achievement in the prior year that they were recognized with some additional dollars. And then also, Ms. Owens, who asked that I make you aware that Fox 35 has declared that this Friday's football game between Mount Dora High and Eustis High is going to be the game of the week. And so they will be on site during the day. So she asked you to tune in at 7, 8, and 9 a.m. on Friday morning to see all the excitement and buzz from both of those schools. They'll be covering the band and cheerleaders and players at those schools. And she thought you might be interested in that as well. Condolence letter was sent to the family of John Hill, who was our retired grounds worker, so condolences to his family, and that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Superintendent. Board members, Mr. Matthias?
So I'd be remiss if I didn't call on the consent agenda tonight, 8.03, which is the memorandum of understanding between the city of Mineola and Lake County School Board. This has been a work in progress for about 4 years, and I will tell you, if you ever want someone to be your wing person, it's Mrs. Randall. You are outstanding, and thank you for your support. And I am so glad we got this finally over the hill, and we'll actually get the school, the Hills of Mineola, started. So
Thank you, Mr. Matthias. Thank you for your advocacy in that as well.
All right. Briefly, I'd like to echo Superintendent Cornegie's comments on Mr. Gomez at Oak Park Middle. Had the chance to accompany her for that. Very excited for them and for Oak Park and all of our Leesburg schools. And also just want to mention briefly, Saturday was the 13-year anniversary of Scott Strong's tragic passing. His legacy continues to live on through the Education Foundation's golf tournaments and the scholarship funds and the millions of dollars that have flown through Lake County schools because of him and his advocacy. And I think it's cool to mention that his daughter is now one of our elementary school teachers, so that legacy continues on. So always think about them and the impact they made. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Brandyberg? Mr. Dahl?
Yes, so as I think about the next couple of weeks until we meet again, a couple of things come to mind, and one is I know that Halloween is right around the corner, and I always flash back on Halloween to my very first day in the classroom, actually, which was a Halloween. So I always say it's remarkable that I came back on November the 1st after that experience, and with Halloween even being a Monday, I wish all of our teachers the best of luck out there with that adventure. And then also, of course, as early voting has begun, we can't help but think about the importance of the referendum that this board has placed out on the ballot for the renewal of the 3/4 mil property tax. That is not a new tax, it's just a continuation, and I don't even know that we could properly go through just how vital that is with how many services it provides in terms of safety and security and mental health and your physical health with the school nurses. And so we certainly strongly suggest anybody who needs an ounce of more information to jump on our site. I think we've got some videos out there and information as to details how we've spent that money and how we've been excellent stewards of the taxpayers' money. So, thank you.
Excellent reminder. Thank you, Mr. Dodd. Speaking of Halloween, there is a trunk or treat that's being put on at Eustis High School right now until 7:30 by all of the clubs and organizations that are at the school. So they're excited about that. If anybody's not doing anything and has a Halloween costume, jump in your car and ride down the street. I also wanted to say thank you to Sabrina Dillon Banks. I heard the driver's education program is back up and running, and I think there's lots of community members that are excited about that, so I appreciate the work that you did with that. Umatilla Middle School and East Ridge Middle School are playing in the volleyball championship tomorrow at Mount Dora High School at 5:30. So if anybody's looking for a good round of volleyball, we would love to invite you to come and join us. And I was going to say something about Fox 35. I spoke to Mr. Clark this morning, the principal of Eustis, and he is excited about Fox 35 and it's homecoming week. And so he's like, this school is going to be really fun this week. So we would just wish them the best of luck. It'll be really exciting. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you. I know that personally I've been dealing with a lot, and I received just an outpouring of love and support from my Lake County Schools family and some constituents, and it's been very appreciated and felt. And so, thank you. Meeting adjourned.